Hello, everybody. This is Football Psych, and
It's Large Sarge.
and welcome to the show, everybody. We have got so much news to talk about tonight because, well, we've had a Commanders complete and utter total rebuild, and so much to be excited about.
Oof. Oof.
So let's go ahead and let's get on. Let me get to my right screen here, man, because that one looks ugly. There we go. All right, everybody. Well, here we go. We've got a lot to go over tonight. First of all, the next major item that we are looking forward to is the 2026 NFL Draft, which will be 23rd to 25th of April. There is our current picks. We have a total of 6. We do not have a second and fourth round pick for those who are tracking because of the Laremy Tunsil trade with the Houston Texans. So this is what it's looking like. We also picked up a 6th round pick from the San Francisco 49ers when we traded Brian Robinson Jr. last year. Good old B-Rob. So we are left with 6. We're currently sitting at the 7th overall pick in the NFL draft, which if it was up to me, yours truly, I would say trade back. But we'll see what they actually end up doing. All right. Here are still the main prospects that we are looking for the draft. Who really knows if we're going to take somebody at number 7? I sure kind of hope that we do not. But depending on who falls our way, might be hard to turn something down. What are you hearing there in Northern Virginia there, Large Sarge?
Well, there's a lot of chatter up here, as you know, and there's a lot of angry fans at the Commanders right now. There's a lot of people angry. A lot of people thinking we screwed up, and I'm kind of in the middle of that pack. And I'll get into that with you later as we go down this. But I'm still I still think we need another edge in the draft. But I'm a total agreement with you. I don't think we're going to get anyone that falls to us. And if we don't, then I totally agree with you. We trade back. We trade back and we pick up another edge in later rounds.
So, like, who is it that you would be concerned would either, like, who would you say, like, if that person's there, we have to take him?
We have to take who I would say if any edge rusher falls to us at 7, we take him.
Well, I mean, there's going to be an edge rusher there. So, like, David Bailey, Reuben Bain, I would probably venture to say either one of those are going to be there. I would say Averill Reese, that dude's a top 5 pick. Averill Reese is not going to be there. But Reuben Bain, I can almost guarantee you, in my estimate, will be there at the number 7 pick. And I would say no. I am not under Large Sarge. I never listen to people in Washington. I do not subscribe to anything that any pundit ever says in Washington because I'm absolutely convinced nobody up there knows what they're talking about. Completely, utterly. So Coach Mad Mike is always on an island on his own. And I admit it. I am not going to agree with anybody up there. But I would like to believe like maybe that's the reason why a couple people might even remotely listen to me. With that being said, I could say if Averill Reese is there, which would be a catastrophe for him, which would even make us second guess ourselves if he's there at number 7, he would be hard to pass up on. But I would almost guarantee you David Bailey and Reuben Bain are going to be there, and I would recommend we don't get either one of them. I am not under the philosophy that we need another edge rusher. I'm not under that philosophy at all.
You want to hear the reason why?
Yeah, go for it.
So listen, and you can see the shorts. I put out a short on and there's more coming. I'm all about Odafe Oweh. Okay. I thought that was a solid move. I thought we overpaid a bit, but I think that's a very solid move because he's a healthy young man. All right.
Yep.
And I think he's on the upside. But you know me, I'm all about missed tackles, which we were full of. That's why we're at the bottom of the league last year. So,
very true.
So we get Charles Omenihu. from Kansas City. And Omenu, God love him. He's a good guy. But the man hasn't played since 2023. He showed up for 6 games last year with Kansas City, and he had ankle issues. He was non-productive. We don't even have stats on the man. So he's injury prone. He's a rotational player at best, right? And he's on the older side, right? And then we get K'Lavon Chaisson, who made it to the Super Bowl, thank God. But you want to and where it counts, you know where this man plays? He had 54 pressures and 7.5 sacks, but he had a 36.4 missed tackle rating during the 25 season, which is the highest among all edge rushers. The man can't tackle his way past a barn. If you were a barn, he'd miss you on a tackle. So he's a rotational player. Now, since we've got who's our edge who got hurt last year? Armstrong, right?
Yep.
So as I'm looking at what we're doing on our edge, Oweh, A+. Armstrong coming back off an injury. Omenu's on injury, questionable, and we signed him as such, as rotational. K'Lavon Chaisson can't tackle his way out of a box. At least he's healthy and hopefully on the improve if we can teach him how to tackle. And we know Luvu plays strong on the edge. So we brought in depth in those 2 guys, right? On spec deals. We brought in depth that are unproven. So did we really improve? I don't know. But I think we need a younger, even younger guy who's on the up, who these guys can bring in. I think we need an edge that we can trust because these guys aren't ready. The other 2. That's just my opinion.
Okay. I have a different opinion. So for those of you that are fans out there, here, I'll give you my opinion. We don't need any edge rushers. Because we are going to be running a 3-4. A 3-4 that is going to be defensive tackle heavy. Because that is the Brian Flores system. In a Brian Flores system, you don't need edge rushers. You need outside linebackers that play close to the line. These are non-hand in the dirt kind of guys. So the traditional edge rusher that everybody's salivating at the mouth for, that we've actually needed on this team the past few years, that we don't have, we don't need them. We don't need an edge rusher. What we need is outside linebackers. And I will tell you that we have plenty of outside linebackers. I'm going to show you the depth chart. I'm going to show you what we're saying. I'm going to explain this a little bit further in depth for those who might want to see it, right? When it comes to actual players in the draft, I believe that we don't need to reach for a single player at this point defensively. I'm just telling you as a defensive guy, in a 3-4 system, in a true traditional Brian Flores 3-4, which to me is more like a 5-2 when it's tight.
5-2, yeah.
But it's called a 3-4. I would even relent to say it's probably more like a 3-4 hybrid.
Right.
So from this point forward, I'm gonna call it a 3-4 hybrid because it's not really a 5-2, but it's not really a traditional 3-4 either. So I'm going to say, because they want to label it a 3-4, I'm going to call it a 3-4 hybrid from now on for the rest of the season.
I agree with you.
All right, 3-4 hybrid. In a 3-4 hybrid, in the way that Brian Flores has it, they actually don't use edge rushers. They use defensive ends. So there's a difference between an edge rusher and a defensive end. All right, because true defensive tackles can play the defensive end in this system. In other words, you can have a guy like Deron Payne. You can have a guy like Kinlaw. You can have a guy like Johnny Newton. You can have a guy like Tim Settle play these positions. The nose tackle has to be the anchor of the 3-4. Oh, by the way, any of those guys can play the nose tackle position. So there's versatility along this line. You don't need traditional edge rushers. As a matter of fact, if you bring in an edge rusher, you're going to play them in a non-traditional edge rusher role that fits more like an outside linebacker position. So you got to look for guys like, well, who of these guys have outside linebacker experience? the guys and the pieces that we picked up do. Great analysis, Large Sarge, about the tackling of this thing, because that's very good analysis off that stuff. Because what you want on these guys that are outside linebackers is they've got to be good at and like a number of things that are really, really well. Yeah, you want them to be good at pass rushing, but they got to cover the flat. Well, when you cover the flat, you better be a freaking good tackler.
Right.
Also, you got to be able to drop back in coverage. You got to be able to do a number of things that an edge rusher just doesn't do. Like, edge rushers don't drop back in coverage. Edge rushers don't really play the flat. They mostly just do quarterback containment, right? So there's some different skill sets in there, but I'm going to tell you what these outside linebackers got to be really, really good at: tackling. And so good analysis on your part, Large Sarge, on that. But we are going to talk about these positions a little bit. To me, I look at these positions, I think several guys like Ava Reese being there at number 7, I do not think is going to happen. Caleb Downs, I think with his injury situation as of right now, you cannot take him there.
Right.
I know when I was chatting back and forth with Shaq. He was sitting there saying, well, maybe we'll go with Carnell Tate at wide receiver. I don't want to wide receiver with the 7th overall pick. There's going to be plenty of receivers in this draft that you can trade back and you can get all kinds of receivers. You don't need to take Carnell Tate at number 7. Jeremiah Love. We got a full running back room now. I don't know if we need Jeremiah Love.
We don't need him.
Sonny Styles, I don't think Sonny Styles is going to be there at number 7. He's might go to the Giants at number 5.
Yep.
So, depending on how this board works out, right, I think it is prime location to trade back. However, there's got to be somebody there that another team's interested in where they say, I've got to trade up to get my guy.
Yep.
I don't know who that guy's going to be.
Yeah.
That a team will look at and go, I got to trade up right now. I got to get to the number 7 spot to get the guy I want. Otherwise, he's coming off the board.
Yep.
And that's the part that Adam Peters is going to have a tough draft day in that first round of how to navigate that, because if he doesn't get a suitor to trade, he's got to be willing to pick at that position.
Yep.
But one thing I could say is that his pressure to reach or to get a position of need, I think, is no longer there. I don't think he has to feel pressure that it has to be an edge rusher, it has to be a linebacker.
Yeah.
Like, because I actually think he's got just about everything filled at this particular point. You can make a wide receiver argument, but I think he's still got plans about what he's going to do at wide receiver. I don't think we need to get Carnell Tate. I will tell you, if Sonny Styles is there at number 7, I don't know. I don't believe Adam Peters is going to have the self-control not to go ahead and pull the trigger on that. But we will see. I mean, what do you think, Lars? Do you think with Sonny Styles there, we take him?
Him and Chenal, the monsters of the Midway. At 100% all day long, you take him. Absolutely.
Right.
Because him and Chenal together will absolutely shut down the run. But then our problem becomes the edge. Because with those two pickups that are supposed to be able to tackle on the edge, we don't have anyone. Because they're pass rushing edges in rotation. Which leaves us Oweh on one side and Luvu on the other, if they play Luvu. Right now, based on what we've been talking about in this 3-4 hybrid, Luvu should be playing the middle with Chenal. And Luvu's not good. We talked about Luvu not being good in the middle. Luvu should be on the edge where he's much better, right?
Yes, and I believe if we get Sonny Styles, I believe you could play Luvu out.
Right. That would be the smart move, right?
That would be the smart move,
yeah. Right?
That's right. That would be the smart move. So, and that would be my move. I would have Luvu played right outside linebacker. And I'd have all the way on the left outside linebacker position, and I would have Sonny Styles and
Chenal
in the middle, and that is a powerful linebacker core.
Yep. Now Chenal, y'all can look at the short. Chenal was probably the best free agency pickup of any team in the NFL. And here, I'm going to tell you why. 1, he came on a very cheap deal. 2, He was the number one middle linebacker on missed tackles. The man, if he touches you 95% of the time, you're going down. 5.2% missed tackle ratio. That means 95% of the times he touches you, you're tackled. 42% of the time he lines up in the linebacker slot, and 49% of the time he lines up on the line.
Ooh.
This guy is a monster of the midway. A monster. I watched him in Kansas City for 2 years in a row. In the playoffs, yeah, playoffs, that stat was even better in 2024 and 25. That stat was 3.2%, 97% tackle ratio. He's insane.
Oh, that is insane.
It is insane. Basically, they took Wagner out of the picture by adding him. But you add Sonny Styles in there, and basically you've got two cover middle linebackers that can do everything, right?
Yeah.
Right? So that's crazy. That's a crazy combo for us.
So I'm willing to go out on a limb. If Sonny Styles is there, you take him. If he is off the board,
straight back.
You need to be working the phones like a mother to be trading out of that pick.
Yep, I agree. Yes. Wait.
It's Sonny Styles or trade out.
Yes, I agree.
All right, so let's get into this a little bit because we have had so many moves, and I wanted to kind of show it to you this way. I could show every individual transaction. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you what it looks like on a proposed depth chart provided to us by ESPN. Now, I don't necessarily agree with the lineups that they have here that's presented by ESPN, and I'll discuss that by position. I also like a lot of the moves that the Commanders did, and I'm kind of like about some of them. Like, I'll start off at quarterback. Us getting Marcus Mariota back is to me. I get it. I understand why they did it. There's a working relationship with Jayden Daniels. Maybe they work well together in the film room. He was a serviceable guy to come in and do that. I'm just a huge fan of your backup quarterback being a guy you're trying to develop for the future. And Marcus is not that guy. So, how do you feel about Marcus? You're okay with it, or are you excited about the signing?
Marcus is the most qualified backup quarterback in the league, unless you're talking about Cousins, who does not want to be a backup quarterback. He still thinks he's a number one. Marcus is the most qualified, and he knows the team, and he knows Jayden Daniels. He's perfect for us.
Okay.
But I agree with you, Coach. Yes, we want to bring someone up and get them trained, but that's not where we're at with this team.
So I don't necessarily have given up hope though, because Dan Quinn typically brings 4 quarterbacks into camp. He did it in Atlanta. He did it ever since he's been our head coach here in Washington. Mm-hmm. He always has 4 quarterbacks when he goes into camp. We only have 3 on the roster right now. I would not be surprised if there's some other mysterious signing out there of a guy that he wants to bring in, especially to put pressure on Sam Hartman.
Yeah.
To compete for the number 3 spot.
Yeah.
And what will happen is only one of them will make the team on the practice squad.
Yep.
And the other one will get cut because we're only going to carry 2 quarterbacks on the starting roster. When Marcus Mariota was signed, that was already determined. It's going to be Marcus Mariota.
Yep.
Behind Jayden Daniels. All right. So, that should be like no doubt in anybody's mind. 1-2, unless there's a major injury, it's going to be Jayden Daniels, Marcus Mariota. And the practice squad quarterback will be Sam Hartman or whoever they signed to compete against him.
Yep.
All right. Then we went in and we kind of cleaned out our running back room, and then we kind of started rebuilding it a little bit. We went out and got Rachaad White, which is very, very interesting signing. I think we got him for a freaking steal. A steal.
Utter steal.
1 year, $2 million. And up to $4 million in incentives. He's worth more than $4 million on just base salary.
Ridiculous.
So great signing on that 1 year deal. He comes in, he proves it. Believe me, we're going to pay him next year. He's going to cost a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Jerome Ford, we got from Cleveland. I mean, he had a off year a little bit last year, but the guy's talented. I think that's a very, very solid thing. He's still dealing with a little bit of an injury. So, like, we nurse him back to health. He's going to be good. And then this was news as of today. We re-signed Jeremy McNichols to a
Yep.
1-year deal.
I think it's
So
great.
our running back room's full.
Yep. Done.
It's full.
Done.
It's done. All right. Go ahead. What you got, Love?
Hey, Love God is back this year. Thank you for coming back, Love God. We appreciate you. As you know, the rumor mill is full of where is Ayuk? Where's Ayuk? Where's Ayuk? And Love God's all over it. So Ayuk, I'm going to answer this one. His question is, they want a 7th round pick for Ayuk. Yes, that's the question. But here's what's going on with Ayuk. San Francisco they're PO'd because Ayuk played them. So they're playing him and they're holding on to him to the very last second because they're PO'd on how he played him. That's why they're not letting him go and why we haven't signed him yet. So we don't know how long this little game of tit for tat is going to go on. And if they want a 7th round pick, yes, we'll give one for him. Do you agree, Coach?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a 7th round pick.
It's a done deal. That's what
but
we think.
but the thing is there's some stuff that has to happen behind the scenes, right? So, like, he did a nasty with the San Francisco 49ers. They actually, 49ers front staff, John Lynch over there, they have every right to be pissed off at Brandon Ayuk.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he had the injury. He came back. He was a year-long holdout. He was just like a whiny little thing. He decided, like, man, I'm just going to stop communicating with the team. I'm just going to go all diva mode. He just was completely and utterly unruly, not a team player, which I will tell you, coaches don't like.
Or owners.
It's just like, do you really like, and I guarantee you behind the scenes, people are asking those questions. Is that a guy you really want in your locker room?
Right.
Because if he has a falling out, he's just going to be like, just decide not to show up for work, decide like, I'm just going to cut off communication. I'm going to screen my phone calls with you.
But you know what, Coach?
You don't need that.
You know what the coach, the talk today with Jaden crying so loud to have him was, does Jaden really want this guy on because of that kind of attitude? Does he want to take on that extra responsibility? Because what if we get Ayuk, right? And Ayuk starts pulling the same kind of games. Do they start pulling on Jaden to get him in line? Does Jaden take on the extra responsibility to keep him in line? You know what I mean? That's what they were talking about today. It's like, does he have to take on added pressure to keep the guy in line? Kind of like that situation with the GOAT having to keep what's his face in line, right?
Yeah, Tom Brady keeping Antonio Brown in line.
Exactly. That was the talk today up here. It was like, yeah, does he really want to step into that? Does the ownership want to put that on Jaden to keep that together? Oh, hell no.
So I think you really got to talk to him at this point because he's missed a lot of football.
Yeah.
So you got to say, it is a roll dice even with a 7th round pick. I mean, you got to ask yourself, is he damaged goods? Does he want to play football? Is he going to take it serious? He's going to be a team player. Because I will tell you, when you cut off communications with your team, you're not being a team player.
Mm-mm.
When you decide I'm just not showing up for work, screw y'all. That's not being a team player. So, I know everybody puts a lot in the basket about what Jaden wants, Jaden gets. I don't think you should give him that much leash, honestly. Jaden Daniels has not proven enough in this league for you to say, like, I'm going to give you what you want. I'm sorry.
Say it again, Coach. Say that again.
Yeah, Jaden hasn't done nothing in this league to say, I get what I want. Yes. If I was his coach, I'm just like, thank you for your input, Jaden. I'll consider it. Right. But you ain't been around long enough. You haven't done nothing enough in this league to say, like, hey, you need to go get this player for me.
Yep.
Nah.
God, I've been waiting for someone to say that. Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
Yeah, well, that's because those people up there in Washington are afraid to say stuff like that. I will tell you, that's truth. Jaden, you haven't. So, like, now I will say, like, there's probably a really good chance Brandon Ayuk ends up on this team.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff that has to happen beforehand. Conversations need to take place. Do we give up a seventh, or are they going to release him? How is he health wise? Is he truly healthy? All news is he is, but I haven't had my medical staff look at him.
Right.
And then, okay, is his head in the right place?
Mm-hmm.
A good conversation will help you, kind of assess it, because I would pick at that scab a little bit. Tell me what went wrong in San Francisco. Who pissed you off? Like, because I got to assess whether or not I can avoid that situation or not. And then all of a sudden, then we got to agree to contract terms. What kind of contract you think I'm giving you? Because that might be a turnoff. Brandon Ayuk signed a 4-year, $120 million contract. The dude didn't even earn $1 million of those dollars. Not one. When you look at his total stats over the tenure that he was in San Francisco, it was mediocre off of this last contract deal. I'm talking about league minimum value. Are we going to be able to sign him for league minimum value? Because that's what his stats say.
Mm-hmm.
That's what his stats say. And if I'm going to go in there and I'm going to take a risk on this guy, I'm going to be like, all right, Brandon, let's be real. You are a league minimum player for a 1-year contract to prove yourself. And you know what? He might be too much of a diva to accept that.
Yep. Yeah, he might.
And so he might not come.
Or we might bring it for just slightly over that, right? Give him $1 million on top or something. And you're right about the injury. Look what happened to Max Crosby. Who saw that one coming and all that controversy, right?
That's right.
They kicked him out and said, eh.
So I will tell you this. Let's get into the wide receivers right now. We brought Dyami Brown after spending a year in Jacksonville. Dyami Brown, guys, is back. He is back with Washington.
What do you think about that, Coach? What do you think?
I actually like it. I never wanted Dyami Brown to leave, honestly.
I think it's good too, actually. I really do. I think it's good.
I mean, I
think Shaq will hate it.
I don't understand how we kept Noah Brown last year and we let Dyami Brown leave. It should have been the opposite happen. We should have kept Noah Brown out of the building and kept Dyami Brown.
Shaq is gonna hate it. Shaq's gonna hate it.
I don't know what he's got against Dyami, because Dyami's a great football player.
I think he's good.
I actually like Dyami Brown a lot. So welcome back, Dyami. I actually am very happy you're back on the team. He's going to have to fight like mad, though, because this room's going to tighten up. I will tell you, Treylon Burks, I have every confidence in my mind he is going to come in serious. We re-signed him to another 1-year deal, but he was kind of hoping that he would get a multi-year deal after last year's performance. The stats weren't quite there, but he was starting to come on. One more 1-year deal with him being on fire, he's going to get a bigger contract. I think this is going to be Treylon Burks' year. So you get Treylon Burks going. If we get Brandon Ayuk or we get another number 2 in there to go in there, Terry McLaurin's going to have a better year this year. He better. Right? I believe Jalen Lane's going to come on once he gets healthy. Watch out, because Ja'Cory Brooks, I'm telling you, like, that guy has upside. So when I look at these guys, I'm telling you right now, there is somebody I believe on this roster that could be a trade candidate. And that's Luke McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't heard it anywhere else, then you're hearing it right here. Do not be surprised if Luke McCaffrey gets traded between now and the draft.
Yeah, it could happen unless they keep him on special teams.
Yeah, right now he's only earning his money on special teams.
Yeah. Jack wanted to know if you think Brown's at number 3. My opinion on that, Jack, is there's competition at 3. I think if Brown steps up and stays healthy, it's between him and Dyami, because I think number 2 is still up in the air.
Yeah, I think if we bring Brandon Ayuk in, Brandon Ayuk can play really any position.
Yeah, I think Ayuk's the clear number 2 if he comes in.
Yeah, but don't be surprised if Ayuk.
I mean, suppose with quotes, right? He should be, but who knows? He's been injured, right? He should be.
Yeah, but I will also tell you, Brandon Ayuk's a guy you move around, right? You could actually sometimes just put him in the X spot where Terry McLaurin is, put Terry McLaurin in the Z.
Yeah, and
by the way, Ayuk sometimes plays on the slot. you
Yep.
can move them around. So you can create mismatches and throw defenses off by just kind of just start moving your
Yep.
receivers around.
It's a good dynamic. If Ayuk is truly healthy, having him with McLaurin is really going to mess the hell out of some defenses.
Yeah, and if he comes in and he does extraordinarily well, don't be surprised at Brandon Ayuk if he comes in and has like a Pro Bowl caliber year, which I would love for him to have.
Yeah,
Don't be surprised if he wouldn't be the Terry McLaurin replacement.
yeah. Especially when you consider you got a big body slot receiver like Burks and you got Chig as a tight end. That's a nice 4 receiver set right there, right?
It really is.
And then you got
That's
2 halfbacks that can catch as well. That's a nice complementary. I would love that. I can't wait to play that in Madden.
yeah, and that was a good transition too, because like the tight end room, I think is set pretty well too. You know, we got Chig, great addition. I mean, he was number 3 on my tight ends list of guys to get. Um, and you
Great
know,
deal
Pitts,
for him.
you know, when Pitts came off the board, then the next tight end came off the board. I'm like, okay, it's going to be Chig, right? It needs to be Chig. And if you guys go back and look at my free agency rosters, I had the past things, the guys we need to go out, I had Chig on that list the past few weeks, right? And so I'm glad that we got that deal done. I mean, he's the right guy to bring in. We still got Bates, we still got Benz in it, we still got Yankoff. So and we still got Kagar. Kagar's not on this list, but Kagar's still on the team.
Thank God.
All right.
I love
So
Kagan.
we
He's a little
we have
old. He's a little old, but he's got speed.
yeah, he's 29. I mean, he'll be all right. I mean, so we got 5 tight ends. Our tight end room is set. So like there's a lot of positions where these things are set.
Coach, you think
Now,
we need 5, or is one of them going to like be a dual fullback kind of thing?
no, we don't do dual fullback on here. I know you and I like fullbacks,
You
but the
don't think they're
NFL
going
doesn't
to
do
do that
fullbacks.
with Blau movement? They're not
We
going
will we will
Just-
cut one of these guys and put them on the practice squad. We will probably either carry 3 or 4 tight ends.
We won't
I
see an
wouldn't
I
be-
formation at
No.
all.
I mean, if we do, John Bates plays the I. I mean, that's how we've used John Bates the last several years in that
Okay.
kind of situation. But we don't run a true fullback in Washington now. And I don't see David Blau doing that necessarily. I don't know enough about him, but we haven't made any move to sign a true traditional fullback. So
Mm-mm.
until we do, I don't believe that we will. John Bates is kind of uses that dual purpose guy.
Right.
If
He's
you were
still
to run him.
primarily a blocking tight end.
Yeah, and we use him kind of in that H back kind of role where if you want to run an offset I or true I formation, which we very rarely do in Washington, but if we were to do that, then John Bates fills that role.
Like goal
Um,
line stuff, right? Like goal line. You need a big body to get in front of the halfback.
Yeah, I mean that's the traditional role of it, but I'm surprised at how little Washington in real life actually does that. They just
Me
don't.
too.
They just don't do it, and I don't get it. But they just don't do it. I would do it. You would do it.
All day long and 5 times on Sunday.
That's right. 5 times every Sunday. All right.
Damn it.
But they don't do it. So anyway, so our offensive line situation, we got Tunzel, gave him a nice fat extension. We re-signed Chris Paul, which they have him penciled in at left guard in front of Brandon Coleman.
Yeah.
That's only because Brandon Coleman got benched last year and Chris Paul took over. We got Nick Allegretti penciled in at center. So
Wait a minute.
yeah. I know you love that move. Big Odds is out. It's Nick Allegretti. We don't have any other center on the roster that has any kind of center experience. So yeah, it's Nick Allegretti, guys. I do expect us to sign another center because you can't be one deep at a position.
But where?
Because
Coach? Where? In the draft?
Nah, I mean, if we do, it'd be a late round draft pick. Maybe one of our 6th-round picks could be used as a center.
Oof, that's a risk.
To get a guy to back up Nick Allegretti. But like, we could probably also look in free agents that are out there. But we need to bring in. I would say because we still have slots on this team, you can bring in 1 or 2 more centers. Excuse me. Oh man, my throat dried out. All right. Anyway, Sam Cosme, we got him. And then also Josh Connerly. So our offensive line, our starting five, that's what they are. I think there's still room for improvement, but I don't think we'll improve necessarily. I believe our top three backups is Brandon Coleman, Andrew Wiley, and Trent Scott, which is another resign. We resigned Trent Scott.
Yeah.
But we will probably carry 9 offensive linemen. I think the missing guy on this line is a true backup center.
Yeah.
Somebody that if Nick Allegretti goes down, that person would come in and take over.
Coach, I'm going to disagree with you wholeheartedly. Our missing piece on the offensive line is a true starting center with Allegretti being the backup.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I completely, wholeheartedly will disagree with you 100%. Spaghetti Allegretti is not a starting center.
I'll concede to that. That's fair. That's fair. But I will tell you, Washington probably thinks differently. Washington probably believes that Allegretti's the starter. Everything I've heard, it's Allegretti, Allegretti, Allegretti. And so much so that somehow they were emboldened enough to let Badass freaking get cut. And they're like, oh, no, we're good. And I'm like, really? You're good with Allegretti?
I'm going to watch this during preseason. You watch. You watch how many fumbles he makes with Jaden Daniels in preseason.
All right, guys. Well, offensively, though, I don't see major holes here. I do agree with you, Large Sarge. We need to strengthen up the center position. I do believe we need a true number 2 wide receiver.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's really about it, guys. And if you think Ayuk's going to be the guy, and you think we're really going to go out and get another center, here's a cool idea. What if with the number 3 overall, our third round draft pick, not number 3 overall, our third round draft pick, what about getting a center in the 3rd round?
Is there one available? Have you looked at it?
I mean, yeah, there's guys that are going to be there. So, I mean, if you get a good, solid center in the 3rd round and let him compete with Nick Allegretti.
Yeah. Good young guy, strapping young lad. Yeah.
Yeah,
big
why
boy,
not, right?
Big 350-pound dude. Yeah.
You know, Nebraska kind of dude or whatever.
Exactly. Corn eating, potato eating, hog swaggling kind of center.
Swaggling?
Absolutely.
That's it, man.
Yes.
All right, guys. Now, according to ESPN, they label us a base 3-4. Again, I'm going to call it a 3-4 hybrid. That's my term I'm going with. I don't like the way that they had the people lined up on here at all. And I don't think this is real. So I'm going to tell you where I think things are off of this and where I think things are off on this. Okay? So, first of all, Tim Settle, Jerron Payne, Javon Kinlaw, and I'll add Johnny Newton to that list. Those 4 guys can play anywhere.
Yeah.
In those front 3 slots. They call it a left defensive end, a right defensive end, and a nose tackle. Notice they don't call any of those edge rushers.
Right. By the way, let me say one thing here. I think re-signing Tim Settle, who had a PFF in the high 70s from the Texans, was a brilliant freaking move. He is one of the most unsung heroes at defensive tackle in the entire league. And I think bringing him back to the Commanders was a massive, massive move for the price. I think it was amazing at depth.
I think we were actually stupid to let him go the first time.
Yes. But I think he learned something by going to the Texans and bringing that experience back. Boom, baby. Boom.
Here's what he learned. I'm going to tell you what he learned when he was in the Texans. He learned about this 3-4 hybrid in Houston. Because they run a 3-4 in Houston.
Yes.
So he's going to come back. And back in the day, Jerron Payne was his mentor. Guess what? Tim Settle might be Jerron Payne's mentor in this system. They might have a little role reversal going on. Because Tim Settle's going to be able to go like, hey, Kinlaw, hey, Jerron, hey, Johnny Newton, this is how you run this.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be able to give him some pointers.
I think that was this sneakiest, most sneakiest free agency hire. I think it improved our front line on defense like that was a sneaky one. And I think that wasn't a 10% move. That was a 40% move for us. You know what I mean? On the front line. I really
agree.
do. I really do.
Now, here's something that I don't agree with that I see on this list. Dietrich Weiss and Charles Emmanuel, those guys could play defensive end. They could also play outside linebacker. So what I see there is I see some versatility. Dorrance Armstrong, could play as a defensive end. So could Drake Jackson. So, like, there are so many interchangeable parts on this defense when you look at them. Like, who's a true outside linebacker on this team?
Yeah.
Uh,
Jackson gets an A+ from me. Armstrong's a question mark because of his the ACL, the injury, right? And how is he going to come back this year? He's a question mark for me. I love him. Don't get me wrong. Not poo-pooing him, but that injury's tough, right? Especially for his lateral mobility and ability in coverage. So,
and Javonte Jean-Baptiste could play defensive end as well as that outside linebacker position. So there's so many pieces that I think when you get them in camp, you're going to find out what is their lateral movement. How are they at getting on coverage? Okay, you're failing at that. Well, let's put you on the defensive line, and let's put you as a defensive end, and let's just have you, play from that position.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to find out who shines in the outside linebacker and who needs to play the true defensive end. And if you got a guy that doesn't fit either one, then you give him the boot. But there's a lot of guys that you have a lot of interchangeable parts here that you can play. And so to me, it's exciting. What I'm going to say and hammer, which you probably will not hear from anyone else, anywhere else out there, I don't think we need an edge rusher because this particular system is not edge rusher demanding. It's not really established that way. So like I'm not going to buy into the rhetoric that everybody's doing because they're thinking about every other 4-3 that's out there, which is the way we ran our defense last year. We don't need the edge rushers like the traditional one. There's 5 teams in the NFL that run this type of 3-4 system, and they don't necessarily need edge rushers to pull it off.
Coach,
sorry, I keep getting this call.
People who can tackle.
Tackling is important. So, okay, with that being said, when you see the Will linebacker position and Sam linebacker position, these are really not a traditional Will or Sam linebacker. These are really outside linebacker positions that sometimes will play up onto the line. So when I look at that and I look at guys like Odafe Oweh, I'm telling you right now, A+.
Yeah.
Getting that dude. And depending on matchups,
I rated him a B.
I say A+ because this guy right here in that absolute outside linebacker position, I would say he's probably one of the best at it in the National Football League.
Here's why I rated him a B. You ready?
Go for it.
He was 54th in run defense. And he was a solid rather than elite run defender. But he had pass rush defense was really high. Okay. But his missed tackle rate was 15.2%. So that was an improvement over his previous year. So this ranked him right around the average. So
right.
I think
the reason why I'm going to tell you it's an A+.
And I think that's an improvement. So I think with good coaching, that'll improve this year. I think it will. So that's why I gave him a B.
No, I think that's fair. Here's the reason why I'm going to say he's an A. Because this is the right system for him.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you his numbers will improve this year.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Him working with Durante Jones and his Brian Flores system with him playing a true outside linebacker position fits every one of his strengths.
Yeah, I think so too.
This guy is going to freaking light it up. I have no doubt about it. I want you to think for a second about having a guy like Johnny Newton, Javon Kinlaw, Dron Payne as the front 3, have him be on the outside, and then having a guy like Chenal backing him up. on the Mike linebacker
We
position.
should have
That side is going to be so damn dangerous.
We should have insane pressure up the middle.
You're going to have pressure coming from so many different places on this team because you're going to be able to stump this guy inside, outside, dropping back in pass rushing, covering flats. Like a quarterback's going to be like, I have no idea where Odafe is going to be. I just know he's probably going to be disruptive.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be scary good. I'm just telling you guys right now, he's something to be excited about.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. Yes.
And when you think about Chason on the other side, working off of that too, I believe it's going to be somewhat complementary. I am not as high on Chason as I am on Odafe, but I will tell you I'm a lot more higher on Chason than I am on Armstrong.
Chason's good in a rotation on a pass rush, and that's about it.
Yeah, but here's who I'm going to say is going to be there that this list is not showing.
Luvu.
It's going to be Luvu.
All the way,
reason
baby.
why this list has Luvu on the inside with Chanel is because we don't have another Mike linebacker in there. Of course, I call them Mike linebackers middles. They're calling them left inside and right inside, but they're both middle linebackers, right? They're in the middle. They play in the middle, right? So, and Kane Madrano is coming along. Jordan McGee is coming along. They are going to be there, but I don't think either one of them are necessarily ready to start. So if we get a guy like Sonny Styles, it's game over, guys.
Coach, I say Chanel and McGee. McGee would be insane beside anyone besides Chanel would be insane. Like seriously, with Luvu on the outside.
I would agree with that. I actually wouldn't mind playing around with that in preseason.
Oh my God.
Just to see what you have. Like test it out a little bit. Put these different packages together, test it out, see what it looks like. And I'm telling you, that's exciting. God. That would be very, very exciting. But to think of a week 1 start, would I be upset about having Jordan McGee next to Chanel? Oh, hell
no. Oh, hell no. McGee's got that lateral speed. Chanel's got the punch. Oh, hell no.
Oh my God, that would be fun. And then you're right. Chason coming in as a complimentary piece. Armstrong coming as a complimentary. Drake Jackson coming as a complimentary piece. I mean, there's a lot of things that you could do with this defense that makes it really fun and interesting.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, from a corner situation, of course, we got Trey Amos and Mike Sinistro. Trey Amos, he's going to have a big year this year. I've even heard rumors about possibly trading him. I wouldn't do it. Please don't do it. Please keep him. But I mean, don't get antsy and start trading away talent like that because you probably will screw it up and not get somebody better. I would stick with Trey. Stick with Mike Sinistro. Sinistro's not going anywhere. And then you added Amik Robertson. Amik Robertson is going to be your slot guy, which is a package thing because we're running a 3-4 hybrid. So Amik's not going to be on the field all the time. But if Amik can beat out Trey Amos, then maybe you put Trey Amos in that nickel back spot. So you let him compete, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing I'm happy about. I'm really happy we signed Nick Cross. Nick Cross playing across from Quan Martin. Nick Cross playing in the strong in a 3-4 hybrid where he's closer to the line. I like better than a traditional 4-3 for Nick Cross because Nick Cross in a 4-3, I would give him about a B- grade. So, I give him about a B+ grade if he's playing in this 3-4 hybrid system because he's going to play closer to the line, covering down on some of these tight ends. And Nick Cross is a physical freaking dude.
So let me tell you about Nick Cross, and you're going to see this in an upcoming short. I think Nick Cross is one of the top 4 things we did in free agency for the defense. Top 4. Here's why.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Nick Cross did miss 15 tackles last year. However, despite missing 15, he was the most highly productive, leading all NFL safeties with 97 solo tackles and totaling 120 combined tackles while playing 95.53% of defensive snaps the whole season. This guy's a hitter. He's a run stopper. He's exactly what this defense needed. 120%. I agree with you, Coach. Boom!
This is a Jeremy Chin true replacement right here.
Yes.
Because we screwed that up 2 years ago. It's taken us 2 years to get a guy like Nick Cross to come in and actually fill that gap. It was not Will Harris, right? So, and Jeremy Reeves never really stood up for that role. And then they tried Percy Butler, and that didn't really work out so well either. So, not that I think any of those guys are necessarily going to go anywhere. I have my views of who I would give the boot to. I personally would give a boot to Harris. I'd definitely give the boot to Butler.
Oh God, you hate Butler like something fierce.
But will this team actually do it? Probably not.
Oh,
I would get rid of those guys in a freaking heartbeat.
oh my God, you made some Butler.
I would freaking cut them. I would be perfectly happy moving forward. I'm telling you guys, I'm serious. I'd be perfectly happy moving forward with Nick Cross, Quan Martin, Jeremy Reeves, and Tyler Owens. I only need those 4 guys. Harris, get out. Butler, get out. McDonald, I don't even know why you're on the roster.
Depth.
So
You need to have some depth. You need to have a little depth.
I could carry 4 safeties on this team. It would be
Martin, 4
Nick
should
Cross,
be fine, right?
Jeremy Reeves, and Tyler Owens.
4 should be fine.
And so that would be what I would go with. So anyway, when I look at this defense, honestly, guys, I don't see holes.
Oh, I do.
Where do you see a hole?
You know where I see it. Talk to me, Coach. You know exactly where I see the hole.
You want an edge rusher. I don't think
No. I'm talking in the cornerback room.
You're talking in the corner room. So Trey Amos, Mike Sinistros, and Meek Robertson. I will tell you, when I
You just said it. Meek Robertson.
I'm okay with Meek Robertson because I'm okay with him playing the nickelback thing because guess what? A nickelback on this team is not a starter. In a 3-4 hybrid, he's only coming in on nickel back downs. And Amik Robertson plays that position fine. Where he gets all beat up on his ratings, where he gets all beat up on that stuff is when they try to play him as an outside corner. That's where he gets all his failing grades. And like when you actually study the part off of that, when you actually use him as a true nickel, he does fine. He gets in trouble when he's misutilized.
And you try tackle rating of over 20%.
What?
Missed tackle rating of over 20%. He's horrible.
It's because you put him on the outside.
I agree.
He can't freaking tackle on the outside.
I agree.
Because you put him in open situations like that is not. Like when you're playing in that nickel place, you're playing in traffic. He does just fine.
I agree. I'll agree with you. I'll agree, and we'll see how he does.
So, like a lot of
overpaid for him. We overpaid. He's got a PFF of 48. I know people are like, oh, PFF that, blah, 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 blah. We overpaid for him.
I will tell you, I've studied this guy's film. He was so misutilized. And of course, it's going to affect your stats when you're not being utilized correctly.
True.
It's going to affect you in many areas. It's going to affect you in your coverage. It's going to affect you in your tackling. It's going to affect you in so many things. He does not do the outside well. So you have to use him at his strength. His strength is in the nickel position. And he doesn't need to play every down either. So like, and we're not going to use the nickel that often. So when you use a nickel, you put a Meek on the field. When we're not using a nickel, you keep him on the bench.
So, Coach, why do we pay $16 million over 2 years for this guy to use him part-time? Is we overpaid for this guy. Way overpaid for him.
I mean, I don't discount that. I think that was extremely high priced, but
extremely high.
I would have probably thought he would be worth half that.
Right, 8 to 10 million. Okay.
Over 2 years.
Yeah, 8 to 10 over 2. I'm not crying to use him that way.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair about the price tag, but I'm okay with him being on the team. Here's where
I'm going to be watching his skinny little butt because I'm a Lions fan and he sucked. And I don't disagree they used him wrong, but we're going to watch how we use him, and I'm going to be all over his skinny little butt.
So here's where I mean, he's going to be better than St. Juice. He's going to be better than Marshawn Lattimore, which is overpaid St. Juice.
Woo!
He's going to be better than freaking just about
He's
anybody
going
else.
to be
We've had in
my new overpaid St. Juice, guaranteed. Watch.
He's
I'm
going to
going
be
to be
better than
watching that missed
a
tackle
Knockman.
rating. I'm going to be watching it like a hawk.
Yeah, let's do it. But I think he's going to be better than a Knockman. I think he's going to freaking do well.
No, he's not going to be better than a Ganagami. No.
Yeah, but here's where I do think we need one or two more corners, but I wouldn't call it a hole, right? We're going to have more depth on here because we still have 19 slots to fill on this football team.
Yeah.
And so 19 more slots to fill, I guarantee you we're probably going to draft another corner in the late rounds.
Yeah.
If we don't use our third round draft pick on a corner.
Yeah.
I would like to hopefully we go for a center there, but we could go for a corner there. We could go for a wide receiver there. You just really never know what we're going to do with that third round draft pick, but that's a critical pick for us.
Coach, if you had to pick, what's our next, if in the draft, what's the most important position in your opinion, standing here tonight? What's the next most important position we need to add depth to in the draft?
Depth to?
In depth, yeah.
Because
depth starting. Where do we go in the draft?
So that's a complicated question here, and just hear me out for a second. Because what we do with the 7th round pick is going to set the tone for everything. Right? I am personally not a favor of picking at number 7. You guys have been hearing me say this for weeks now, if not months. I've been saying it for a very, very long time. That was even before free agency started. We started filling out the roster as well as we did.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying even before that to trade back. We need more picks. We need to be able to get more talent. And if I could trade that number 7 back and pick up another 2nd round pick, another 3rd round pick, I want to be able to do it. Like I want more 2nd and 3rd round picks because there are several key backup positions I want on this football team. I want another really good receiver. I want another center, starter or backup. I want another linebacker. I want another corner. So that's 4 right there. And right now, I got a number 1 and a number 3 pick, and I don't pick again till the 5th round. If I could trade that number 7 back and pick up 2 more picks to do that, I could feel like we would be a lot more complete as a football team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can get some really solid talent. Maybe not somebody flashy like a Styles, a Sonny Styles.
Mm-hmm.
You might even go in the 3rd round. We pick a guy up, and you're like, who? But if he's an extremely solid football player,
right? Good.
That's what you need. I mean, he doesn't need to be the guy that's all over ESPN.
My top 3 positions, either free agency or draft, right now, top 3 that we need holes. My top position is center. I don't care how we get it. Either way. Number 2 is corner. Number 3 is wide receiver.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
That's just how I'm thinking, looking at the roster.
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably 4.
Number 4, middle linebacker.
Yeah, a middle linebacker. Because I really want to push Louvu out.
Right.
I really would rather have him push out the outside linebacker.
Yeah, everything you've said about that.
I think Louvu will grade out much higher the further you push him out.
Yeah, I totally agree. You've said it, and you've proved it, and I totally agree with you.
Right. Now, if you don't get that guy, then okay, does Louvu stay in? I kind of like your idea of no, still go with McGee and still push Louvu out.
Absolutely.
And I'm fine with that because I just love the idea. I just personally love the idea of Louvu playing on the outside.
Is Wags coming back?
Wags is not going to come back. I doubt very seriously at this point we would resign.
It's silence up here. I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything either. But I think as soon as we sign Chanel, I think that pretty much put a nail in it that we're not bringing Wags back.
I did too, but it's dead silence.
Yeah, and because he's going to cost at least 10 mil.
You think that much? You don't want that much?
Yeah, I mean, we paid him 8.5 last year,
You
and
want
there was a
more?
lot of speculation and buzz that he was gonna grade out to be about the $10 million range, which I think is too expensive
At
for his age.
37? Nah.
So would I
You know what
pay
I heard
eight?
today? Trent Williams in San Francisco wants to come back for one more year.
We won't sign Trent
At
Williams.
38 years old, it still wants 30 million.
I bet he does.
And San Francisco's considering it at 38 years old.
Well, I mean, it's because he's still rated as probably the number one left tackle in the National Football League at 37 years old.
Oh my God.
He's still
38,
rated number one.
38.
If you want somebody to truly protect the blind side of your quarterback and you got the cap space and you can have him for 1 year, would you not do it? Maybe.
No.
I mean, most teams would prefer to get young, but if you were like, hey, I desperately need a left tackle and I'm trying to make a run this year.
Yeah. Speaking of getting young, what I will give to Adam Peters and the team about free agency that I will give an A grade to, no matter what I think about the individual talent they brought on and how they fit into whatever scheme, which I have my individual grades on, I will give them an A on getting younger.
Absolutely.
Right? I will give them an A on moving down the scale and getting rid of the dead old weight and getting younger, getting guys after the rookie deal, moving like Chanel, right? Just getting younger. I will give them an A. They really did focus on that.
And they really attacked the strategy that we really wanted to see this team do.
Yeah.
Because the past 2 years, the first 2 years of Adam Peters, he was trying to just fill holes with like old veteran players.
Mm-hmm.
And it blew up in our face last year.
Yes.
It literally blew up in our face. We fell apart at week 4 last year. And we just absolutely it was done. It was done at week 4 last year. This year, I was just like, we got to get younger across the board. No player over 30 years old.
Yeah. So far, so good.
And they did. They did a really good job shopping this year. And we even said it. We said, like, they need to sign guys after the rookie deal. Young guys that you can come in. And how many times have we say, Large Sarge, you want guys that you can bring in that could grow together for a couple of years.
Yeah.
You know, because it takes time to work into the system and get going. You assess them. Because let's face it, guys, this is a rebuild year with a lot of different kinds of talent. You got it. And people don't want to call it a rebuild. You're going to hear it here. I'm going to call it for what it is. This is a rebuild.
100% rebuild.
We rebuilded with the coaching staff. This is a completely different coaching staff besides, Dan Quinn. But like we have different coordinators, a lot of different position coaches underneath them. We have 2 new different schemes, offensive and defensively. And we brought in now a whole bunch more younger players. This is a rebuild. And so now it's about getting all this stuff, this particular offseason, to come together and gel. Mm-hmm. And our season this year is going to be dependent on whether or not we can make this whole project gel together.
Yep. And see these all these Jimmys and Joes, see how they gel together as a team, right? All these guys coming from different teams. How do they gel together, right?
They got to gel.
Do they form a team, right? Do they get together? And does this experience work? And the coaches bring them together and get them to work together?
So it's going to be an interesting project, but I love it. I love the direction that they're at least going with it.
Yeah. There's a lot of chatter about, we brought the right talent together. We'll see.
So I think it makes it for an exciting draft. I do not think we're done in free agency. Do not ask me. If you notice, I did not talk about the cap because I don't know where the cap is right now. These contracts have not been updated.
It's tight.
I look at Spot Rack. I look at Over the Cap. I look at several other different sites that keep track of cap space. I'm subscribed to a couple of those things. They're all lagging behind.
Yeah.
None of them are up to date. So, I get bits and pieces from several different places, and I still can't figure out precisely where our cap situation is right now. So until things get caught up, which I imagine will happen over the next week or two, then things will settle out, and we'll have a better understanding of how many more guys that we're going to be able to bring in.
Right.
Right. I think the big buzz right now is whether or not we're going to get Ayuk or not.
Yeah, everyone's hanging on that. That's the news.
All right, guys, that's the show for us tonight. I will tell you, we also have the special teams guys. Of course, we brought back Moody. I wouldn't have done that personally. I would have waited a lot longer. Tress weighs 100 years old, but he can still punt like a fool. So I get it. I don't think Jalen Lane's going to be our punt returner. I really don't. Luke McCaffrey on kick return, yeah, probably if he stays on this roster, which is not a guarantee. So, and then, of course, Tyler Osser, long snapper. That's not going to change. But anyway, that's what we got. Guys, that is our show for tonight. Appreciate you. It was a great free agency. I actually love the fact that we had this free agency. I think we did a lot of things right. And it's a football site, baby. And we are out of here. Woo-hoo!